My name is Samantha and I'm known here on YouTube as the Huga Stitcher. Welcome to my home here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Welcome if you are a brand new viewer, and welcome back if you're a returning subscriber. Thank you so much for joining me today. I have a really fun episode planned. It's always a goal of mine to create content for you that is enjoyable to watch while you stitch. And today is no exception. I have planned a really fun episode all about Mirabilia. I have gone through my whole collection. I have past frame finishes. I have finished projects that haven't been fully finished yet. I have WIPs. I have charts to share with you. And this episode is going to be all Mirabilia. So let's dive in. Let's get started. I thought it would be fun to kick off. What am I stitching for Mirabilia? And I have a brand new start here. This is the Cottage Garden Fairy by Mirabilia, Nora Corbett. This has been really exciting for me to start. This is something that I've had in my collection for a really long time, and it has been calling me. I have actually made it a goal of mine, I think it was last year, where I was starting to kit up every single chart of Mirabilia that I had at the time and getting them started and making them all works in progress. In the past, I was a stitcher who would stitch on one thing at a time from start to finish, and no more, no longer. So now what I do is I stitch, I've kitted them all up. I've been stitching on them. Y'all, look at this. This is a brand new start. I haven't been able to put this down. I have been stitching on it every day since the beginning of May. And this has been an absolute delight to stitch on. This is a 32 count Picture This Plus Oaken. And I think it's absolutely perfect for this stitch. Every element of it, the modeling that you see, but the tone, the color, everything is coming out really amazing so far. So you'll see here I've started in the middle of the design, and I have started to work on a little bit of the bow at the back of her dress, which I'm really drawn to. This is something I haven't really seen in many of her designs, where it has that bow element at the back. Really, really beautiful. And something I didn't realize from looking at this picture is that right on the center of the design, on her lap, and I haven't really figured out exactly what it is. It's sort of like a belt or like a sash that has a ton of sparkle. And I haven't had all the Kreinik put in yet, but I will get to that. But you can see there's spaces in the design that's going to create sort of like this star shape all the way across, and it's going to be full of beads. So it's this really blingy, magical sash that's on her lap that I had no idea was in the design. That's going to be so beautiful. And I've started a little bit of this blue stitching. That's sort of, that blue, yeah, I guess it's sort of like a sash. Isn't this stunning? Isn't this coming along so good? Oh my God. So I'm going to continue to work on this throughout the month. This has been really, really fun. And I'm like, where am I going to go next? I think I have to move my Q-snap, because I'm either going to do her skin and get her arm in there and work my way up and do her, like more of her dress, or I'm going to move down and get more of those beautiful colors in there, get more of that shape of her dress. Ah. The wings I usually save for last, because that's the best part. And I've gone through the chart and I've looked, and she has ultimate sparkly wings. That whole center, that gray, is all sparkle. And then there's some pink colors that are DMC, and the outer, like the brown, the dark brown. But that gray color is all going to be sparkly. Her wings are going to be epic. So what do you think of my new start? Oh, so exciting. All right, so I'm gonna jump around a little bit in this video. I'm gonna show you past finishes. I'm gonna show you my works in progress, and I'm just gonna kind of go all over the place. I have everything on the table here to share with you. But I thought, since I've shown you my newest start, I thought I would go all the way back to a WIP of mine that is my oldest work in progress. So this is Muka. I started her in May 2022, so 2 years ago. Wow. Muka is a design that came out. This is MD Mirabilia Designs 156. This came out in 2018. I remember when this was released, I was like, wow, look at her adorable hair for one, her like these two giant buns on each side. Her hair color is amazing and her wings are beautiful. But it's the scenery of this stitch, you know, she's just draped in like ribbons and bedding and a beautiful gown. And then you see these candles in the background and then a border all the way around. This was fun to kit up too. It had, I believe there are three or four different colors of water lily silks, Cairn water lilies, that are in this design. And those are an absolute treat to work with. So I'll show you where I am on Muka. This is a stitch I actually haven't worked on yet this year, like in 2024. And I'm gonna bring her out right away and stitch on her again. I have sort of a goal in mind. I would like, you know, there's still so much left to do in her. Her dress isn't complete, her wings aren't complete, there's back stitching that needs to be done, like there's so much. But I would really love to complete her bed, to get all the way across and to start the border, because this is gonna take some time. And if I complete her all together, I think I'm gonna have a hard time getting across and stitching the bed and all of the amazing details in this design. So I'm gonna save her wings for last. It's a common theme of mine. And yeah, next time I wanna stretch farther across and do the bedding and, you know, all the bed top and the pillow and all that, and get the other side of her bedpost. This was actually super fun to stitch. I'll show you a little bit closer. This was all done in the Cairn water lily silk. And right here too, I just flew through this. I was just like, started at the top, worked my way down, and it was so enjoyable to stitch. You know, it was really, really easy stitching. This more complicated, right? You've got blocks of color, but this was just all blocks of color. So fun to do. Left some spaces here for some beads, I'm sure. Isn't she beautiful? I would love to get her skin done too, just to get that definition, the face and the her facial expression and everything stitched in, but I'll do that soon. Look at her hair. She's so moody. And that's why I love this design. Oh, you know, it's kind of dark, but beautiful. I adore the chandelier, sort of the candles hanging down. And there's going to be quite a bit of back stitching, you know, to put all those leaves in. This is so pretty. One of my all-time favorite designs. Muka. My oldest WIP, 2022. Yeah, I think I should get a finish on her, you know, maybe 2024, 2025. That'd be awesome. All right, so next up, I'm going to share with you another stitch. This is one of my patterns that is the farthest along. This is Stargazer. She is MD88. My favorite number. That's so awesome. This came out in 2006. It has been re-released a couple times. There's some different timestamps on there, 2013 and 2016. This is a stitch that if you're new to Mirabilia and you adore this pattern, this is something you should get. I think Stargazer should be in everybody's collection. She is absolutely beautiful. The elements, you get everything in this stitch. She has beads and Kreinik. Actually, is there Kreinik in here? I actually don't see any. Maybe up in the stars here, there might be a little. But she is mostly cross stitch. But she has this really great element that I like, where you have blocks of stitching, but then also really fun detail, like really satisfying swirls in her dress. You know, when she designs, it's like this really, really beautiful swirl design that is going to be all beading. It's kind of hard to capture in this picture, but maybe my stitching will show you. I'll show you where I am. Yes. So I put her on a board here and kind of clipped her down to sort of stretch her out so that you can see all the beautiful detailing here. But see all these really, all these swirl elements throughout her whole dress, that is going to be all beads. And she has the most, Nora Corbett has the most amazing way of stitching ribbons. How the light and the color changes throughout the ribbon. So it shows the twist in the ribbon, and it just flows so beautifully. So her ribbons come from the back. It's like she's got a beautiful bow, and then the ribbons come down in the front and then swirl out the back, and in her hair. She's got like so much movement in this piece. And one day I'll get the stitching done that's all the beading that is, you know, the swirls up in the sky. So I stitched her on the called for fabric. This is a 32 count toasted almond linen. It's called Amber by WIP. And I love her. But this is one of those designs that if you are following any Facebook group pages for Mirabilia, like a lot of people choose this design and stitch her on like really amazing fabric, you know, where it shows like sort of the night sky, and sometimes maybe they'll even stitch a moon in there, or make the stars really sparkly and stand out more. I've also seen so many different color conversions of this dress too, so you can really have a lot of fun with this design. But she's still beautiful, absolutely, on her called for fabric. Stunning. Yeah. So this is another stitch that I haven't worked on this year, but I'm dying to stitch on her. She's very close to a finish. I just have some more like the bottom of her dress here to finish up, and then it's beading time. One of my favorite parts. Yeah, she's beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna put her down here, and I'm gonna show you a past finish. Something that I haven't shown in my video downstairs here, as I've been sort of recreating a space down here in our basement that will be for, you know, to display my stitching, to film here with you, and also a place for me to store all of my cross stitch. So one of my designs here, I always look down over here because she's on the floor. This is Mermaid of Pearls. And she was framed 2 years ago, I believe. I had her framed, and I haven't hung her up yet. She's quite large, and I have mentioned before, there's a couple different spaces I'm considering. I might hang her right on this wall right beside me here to kind of create like a nook, or I might hang her in the hallway here. So, you know, sort of leading up to where my cross stitch space is. But I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna show her to you. I had her framed, like I said, a couple years ago, and she's quite big. And I've been trying to figure out how to show her so that you can see her, but she, like I framed her, she's in glass, and there's quite a reflection there. So this is sort of the best angle that I can show her to you in. Mermaid of Pearls. She is the second mermaid I have stitched. And she is a piece that I have stitched for one of my daughters. I had envisioned when I had stitched these mermaids that I was going to give them to my girls one day, so I've stitched one for each of them. She's absolutely beautiful. I have more mermaids that I plan to stitch in the future, and but I haven't acquired the patterns yet. Stunning. So the matting that we have chosen was very much sort of like a suede matting that I think gives it a really cool effect. And the frame was really neat. It sort of reminded me of mermaid scales. And I thought this color frame matched her hair really, really well. Hard to show, isn't it? But she's beautiful. I'm really, really proud of this piece and hope to one day have her up on the wall. So that's fun. I love looking at her. She's so sparkly. All of her beads, man, she had a ton of of beading done in her, you know, it's called Mermaid of Pearls, but she is literally like so many pearls are in that design, beautiful colors. She was an absolute joy to stitch. I believe she's out of print now, a little bit harder to find, but still definitely she's out there. She is out there for you to search for, to trade with friends. You'll find her if you have something that you really want to stitch, you'll find a way. There's always so many amazing stitchers out there who have these designs in their collection. Maybe they've already stitched it and are, you know, happy to share the chart with you. And yeah, I had her, I had stitched her, and when I completed her, I shared my chart with another stitcher, another floss tuber, a Milka. She's amazing, and she's actually stitching her now. She started her, I believe, in February, and had gotten a start on her for her birthday. So it's really kind of fun to see her stitch the design, because, you know, her going through it, it's really, really fun to watch someone else stitch something that you have stitched as well. Milka has a floss tube. It is called Mega Stitches. I'll link her below so that you can go follow her, and hopefully she'll create an update soon and talk more about Mermaid of Pearls. All right, so let's jump ahead. I've got another design here that I've shown recently, but I'm really proud. This is Midsommar Night Fairy. She's a past finish. And I recently brought her out. She was in storage, so to speak, in a drawer, and I had given her a bath. I had washed her and hung her to dry, and I don't know what to do next. I have purchased a few pieces of foam board, and I thought maybe I would attempt pinning, maybe lacing, so that maybe I could get her framed soon. We'll see. But here she is. She hasn't been ironed, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna need to do that. I gave it a wash, and the material has relaxed. Any fold marks that I had are now gone. I think that if I were to put her on a foam board and pin her and stretch her, she's gonna look amazing. I'm trying to remember when I stitched this. I think it might have been 5 to 8 years ago, somewhere in there, I stitched her. That's what's so fun about this episode, is that I'm going to be showing you my life's work on Mirabilia charts. I'm just doing the Mirabilia today. I do have many Nora Corbett charts that I have stitched and are currently stitching, but I thought today would be fun just to do all the Mirabilia charts, the big ones. So this is my life's work that I'm sharing with you today. Midsommar Night Fairy was one of those ones, that the first one I've ever stitched on something that wasn't the called for fabric. I wanted her, you know, it's Midsummer Night. That's what this is. This is what that reminded me of, this fabric. And her wings were one of the most challenging things I've ever stitched. I'll bring her a little close. This is all blending filament. I don't even think it was Krynic. I think it was blending filament. Maybe 1 or 2 strands. Wow. And one of my favorite parts is behind her, on her back. Do you see how the wing at the back that shows her hair, how the different color in her hair? It's like you can see through the wing. You can see through to her back. You can see her hair through the wing. And I think that is such an amazing element. She has done this a few times in different patterns, and every time I see that, I'm like, oh wow, I want to stitch that. Because I just think it's such a beautiful element, you know, that really shows that iridescent wing. She's got so many beads and jewels, and she has a wand. You all know I'm a sucker for a fairy and a wand. And she's sitting on a tree branch, and her dress is absolutely beautiful. Her purple colored ribbons, look at this. Oh, she's so pretty. I need to get her framed. All right, I'll move on. How about I show you another work in progress? Just get this tucked away here, because I have some more beautiful things to show you. Put her on the bottom here. Okay, let's look at another work in progress. This one is, I'm gonna look and see, this is Rapunzel, and I started her in January 2023. This is MD 145, and she was released in 2016. I think you can all imagine why I'm drawn to this chart. It's her really long brown hair, which I also have long brown hair. And I do tend to, today I have straightened my hair, but usually I'm a girl who braids usually every day. I have a side braid, and sometimes I'll wear a bun, but most of the time it's a side braid, just like Rapunzel here. I love this stitch. The colors in this are absolutely beautiful. And here I am. I have worked on her this year. If you've been following my channel, you have seen this update of where she's at. The last time I stitched on her, I had completed a good chunk of, I think I finished all of the teal colors in her dress, the top part of her dress, and then started in on this beautiful pink color that's gonna take you down to the bottom of her dress. Is that a dress, or do you think that's like a blanket? I think it might be a blanket, because it looks like she's on a bed, sort of, or a windowsill or something. Yeah. But you see at the bottom how it has all those little tassels? That's kind of making me think that it might be a blanket. Not sure, but I love the beautiful colors. She's so stunning. Her face is so elegant and beautiful, and the braid has elements of everything in here. She's got krynic, she has beads, she has, I haven't put them in yet, any of the flower treasure. She's just full of them. And there's also, which is a bead I've never used before, a bugle beads that are in them. They're the longer beads. They come in like short, medium, and long, and they have the short bugle beads, which I've never put in a design before, so I'm excited about that. It's all in her hair. I have done a little bit of krynic up at the top, but I've left all the spaces for beads and flowers. And something really cool that I didn't realize when I first picked up this chart was how much black 310 stitching is in this design. It's incredible. Like right here, I have stitched all the black stitching, and once I put the browns in, it's like the black disappears. Like look, this is all black here, all through the braid, but when you put those brown colors next to it, you don't see the black anymore. It's amazing. She's stunning. There's so many beautiful ribbons throughout her. Lots more to go. She's gonna take a while. She's a big stitch, but really, really fun. Up next, I thought it would be fun to share with you some charts that I haven't kitted up yet. These are newer charts to me that have been, I think most of these have been gifted to me by viewers of my channel who over the years have sent me little parcels and charts that maybe they were finished with or hadn't stitched, and said, Samantha, these need to belong in your collection. And a lot of these charts are going to be things that I'm going to be kitting up in the next few years to come. I spent quite a bit last year, buying fabric and purchasing beads and krynic and all the things so that I could start all of my Mirabilias. So these are going to be my next set that I'll work on maybe in 2025. So this one here is an oldie. This is called Garden Verses by Nora Corbett that came out in 1994. This is an oldie. And what, like I said, had been gifted to me. This is what I would call a fancy lady. She has a beautiful feather. It's like she's writing on paper. So she's got one of those feathered ink, right? And beautiful, beautiful dress. A bit of scenery behind her with those pillars and like a band of roses down here. I have seen people stitch this and it is stunning. Something that I am definitely looking forward to giving a try. I think she's beautiful. How can I not love this? This is how you know it's an oldie. See the photo? A lot of her other photos have like the black background and a frame, and this one has these flowers. This is an old photo, an old chart, 1994, one of the first designs, you know, Mirabilia, Nora Corbett designed. That's exciting to have in my collection. Garden Verses. She's stitched on 32 count natural linen. Stunning. Okay, and then you saw a little peek. This was a gift from Hannah, a viewer of mine who has been watching my channel from the beginning. She comments on every single one of my videos. I appreciate her so much. Really, you all have no idea. When you leave a comment on any Flosstubers channel, you know, whether it's like, hey, I was visiting today, enjoyed your channel, great content, you know, anything, what that means to the creator of these videos. When I receive comments from you all, it really does help keep me encouraged to create more content, right? And it, like, you know, when every video that I've ever released, sometimes the comments come from, I didn't expect, you know, I didn't expect people to be drawn to this one portion of the video that maybe had just been a quick couple things that I had said, and was like, wow, you know, like the viewers just pick up on different things, and I'm not sure what to say. Like, it just really brings me a lot of joy creating the videos, and it's a place for me to share the things that I love stitching, and I really enjoy the connection from the viewers and the comments that are left. And you know, you get to feel like you know someone through the years. And Hannah is one of those people who, you know, she had gifted me this beautiful chart, and she, like I said, she always leaves a comment on every video. So I appreciate her so much. This one's called the Millennium Angel, MD27. This is an oldie, and I have never stitched anything like this. She is absolutely beautiful. The wings on this are epic. Look at her dress. Isn't it stunning? And then the roses, her face, everything about this is amazing. I'm definitely going to stitch this. And I so appreciate Hannah for sharing this chart with me. Thank you so much. Here's another one that I have recently been gifted. This is Archangel, MD81. When did this one come out? 2004. And this is, you know, really rare to come across the male designs. I believe Nora Corbett has only done 2 or 3. I can only think of 2, but there might be another one in there that I'm not thinking of. But here's one. This is really cool. Again, it's like a scroll. I'm not sure what he's holding in his hand, but it looks like, you know, a scroll that with like almost like gold stitching on the paper, gold writing or something. Beautiful. Yeah. Okay. And here's another one. This is Althena, Goddess of Wisdom. This is MD97. Another fancy lady, everyone. Beautiful. This whole scene is kind of reminds me a little bit of, you know, different, but it reminds me of Muka because of the background in this, but the colors are completely different. She has a beautiful dress. She's holding an owl. And then the drapery, like the curtains in the background and the floral in this, the colors are what I'm drawn to in this one. This is so pretty. Erica, Fibers and Floss Canada, and I have both been talking a lot about this chart lately and how much we want to stitch it, something that she wants to stitch too. Erica and I have really, like, we like different things, but we have really similar taste, and it doesn't surprise me that we would come across a chart where we're both like, yeah, I want to stitch that one. Oh, and here is definitely one I'm gonna stitch. This would be a goal of mine to do in 2025. Again, gifted by a viewer. This was from Karen. This is Lady Mirabilia. Something really special about this chart was that it was released special for the 25th anniversary pattern of Nora Corbett. She's been designing for that long. I think she's already reached 30 years actually last year or this year. She's been designing for a long time, but this was the 25th anniversary chart. Had to have this. I'm so excited that this is in my collection. She has a beautiful butterfly charm that you'll see right here. I want to open it up. It's in the chart here so you can get a better look at it. It's so big. It's so beautiful that goes in the chart. You know how much I love butterflies. This is so pretty. I'm not even sure how you would anchor this down. I guess with invisible floss. There are like lots of spots that you could, you know, put thread in and anchor down. Beautiful. This is so special. Can't wait to stitch this. And I probably will stitch her on the called for fabric. I love stitching on the 32 count milk chocolate fabric by Witchelt linen. So pretty. Maggie, no, not Maggie, Amy. I'm not sure if Maggie has this in her collection, but Fiber Arts Amy has stitched this beautiful piece and has had it framed. It is absolutely stunning. I'm gonna tag her video where she shows this. It is so beautiful. You'll have to go and watch and check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Wonderful, so definitely gonna stitch those. So these are the charts that I have in my collection that I haven't kitted up yet, that haven't had a start, that hopefully in 2025, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 charts here, so I don't know if I can kit them all up in 1 year, but maybe 1 or 2. Definitely this one's calling me, this one's calling me, and Millennium Angel are probably my top picks on of these charts here, but we'll see. We'll see which ones I end up picking, which ones I'm drawn to the most and start. Another thing I wanted to bring up, Mirabilia website. If you go onto their website, they have a spot that is for chart updates. So Mirabilia Designs, I have gone on the website, I've printed, there's 8 pages, I've printed them all. So it starts off with MD number 1, you know, all the way down to MD 190. The last time the website had been revised was December 5th, 2023. So they keep adding, you know, as there are mistakes in the chart or a bead that is no longer available. Sometimes they'll have like, it replaced this charm with that charm. So it has been a great resource. And you never know when you're gonna need it, right? Like I recently just started Butterfly Fairy and I thought, you know what, maybe I should go through here and see if there was anything, you know, before I get started, if there was anything that I need to know about maybe a floss or a little change in the chart. So I printed them off and I'm keeping this in my collection here of charts so that I can sort of like a resource to keep going to. I guess I could just go to the website, but it's I kind of like to have paper copy of everything. I'm like that. And one of the other things that my girlfriend and I, Erica, Fibers and Floss Canada, we, for the month of May, we had come up with a couple of ideas of what we wanted to do to celebrate for the month. And one of the things we wanted to do was stitch Bumblebee, which is a free chart on Mirabilia website that you can download. I downloaded mine many years ago and I had actually got a start on it. It's really weird looking at this point. It kind of looks like a spider, but I had started it and then had stopped because I was missing some of the Krynic, some of the beads. It only calls for 2 colors of DMC and the rest of it is all sparkle. All Krynic, all beads. So I'm gonna make it a goal of mine to stitch on this some more. I have more colors, you know, since the last time I had put this away, it was years ago. And you know, I looked through all of my Krynic and I'm like, oh wait, I actually have that color and this color and that one. So I could get some more done on Bumblebee. It'd be really fun. I'm stitching it on a 32 count natural linen, which I have plenty of this color, and I thought it would be kind of fun to stitch this a couple of times. So yeah, so hopefully over the month you'll see an update on this old WIP of mine, of Bumblebee. And if you're wanting to stitch Bumblebee, you could go to Mirabilia Designs website and download the free pattern. And kind of, if you're wanting to dip your toe, you could substitute, as I was looking at this, there are some colors of Kreinik I don't have, and you could substitute, if you wanted to find a teal or a blue or a gold, you could use colors that maybe you have in your collection already, or you could select a color of floss too. It doesn't have to be all blingy. There's ways around it. Okay, back to works in progress. Here's another one. This is Shakespeare's Fairies. I want to look and see, when did I start this one? September 2023. This chart is MD 103 and came out in 2009. Right around the time I really was diving into the world of Nora Corbett's designs. And this was a release that I fell in love with a few years ago, mostly last year, I think. I had decided that I was going to look at the website and make a list of my top favorite designs and purchase the charts, get them kitted up and get going on them, because I didn't want to miss out. When you have a favorite chart, a design that you are absolutely drawn to, you should go and purchase, add it on an order, even if it's something that you're not going to stitch this year, because her older designs slowly, over the years, she's been designing for more than 30 years. Some of the charts have gone out of print. And to me, if you could buy something for $15 or $23, like that's, get it now while you can. And that's what I have done. This was a design that I knew I absolutely had to stitch. And so far this year, I have brought her out and made great progress. This is where I am so far on Shakespeare's Fairies. I love the colors in here. And I had, again, this was the second time, I had chosen a different fabric from what is called for. This is 32 count by Picture This Plus. It's called Nocturne. And I'm not the only one who has decided to stitch Shakespeare's Fairies on this fabric. There are other stitchers that I've seen on Instagram that have completed or come close to completing on this fabric, and I think it's amazing. The one thing that I really wanted was those lanterns to pop off the fabric, and it so that it looked like nighttime. So pretty. And the wings are ultra sparkly. So I still have some work. I have some work to do. I need to backstitch the face. I always like to get all the stitching done around where I'm going to backstitch, and I have done so here, like the arm I could backstitch here, and there's still some backstitching that needs to be done in the wing. Beautiful. I love this. I love stitching on this one. Absolutely love it. Here we go, Shakespeare's Fairies. I'm going to stand up again. I'm going to show you a stitch up above here. This is a mermaid, the first Mirabilia chart that I ever stitched. This is Siren of the Shipwreck. I thought it'd be fun to take her down and show you up close a little bit better. So one of the really unique things about this chart, careful here, about this framing that I really loved about it was that she, normally you see the white when you have something framed, the matting, the white cutout. This one was cut upside down, so you don't see the white. It is just the dark colors, and then it's like a suede matting, and the darker color in the center sort of creates this depth that I thought was really, really cool. This mermaid frame does match my other one. I'll bring it closer. It has that element of mermaid scale, I thought. This one's more of a silvery color. Look at the chandelier. Isn't it incredible? I remember when I stitched this, that this was one of those things that, you know, I fell in love with her mermaid tail, and I stitched that first. And then I had trouble, you know, stitching my way up and stitching her skin, and then I had left the chandelier for last. That was a mistake. You know, sometimes those hard parts you need to stitch as you go. But I really did love the detailing in the chandelier. How you have all those back stitching Kreinik at the top by her hand there. Beautiful beads, and then there's like some huge crystals up at the top here. Sorry for the reflection. Doing my best here with what I got. Yeah, but she is gorgeous. And I had stitched this for my oldest daughter. When she was a baby, I had stitched this. And so had it framed. This will be hers one day. But for now, it's hanging in my collection. And one day I'm going to gift this to her when she's older. Here we go. Here we go. One of the things I love about this space is having the floating frames where I can interchange my pieces. Since I've, you know, moved into this space, I have sort of created a backdrop and haven't really changed much around yet, but I would like to, as you know, throughout the year, maybe through the different holidays, it'd be fun to display different things. I thought, you know, I had finished these two patterns that I'm going to show you next quite a few years ago, and I envision how beautiful these will look up here. This one is recently I brought out and had washed. She hasn't been ironed, but I think this is Blissberry, and she is, you know, you can still see it, the lines from my folding. But like I said, she hasn't been ironed or stretched. So a good wash. She turned out beautiful. But I would love to have her framed. Oh, these were one of my favorites when, you know, way back when I don't remember the year I stitched these, 2018, 2017, somewhere around there. I had, you know, stitched both of this collection, Blissberry and Petal Fairy. And every time I show these and bring them out, so many people are like, oh my gosh, I love that one, I want to stitch it. She is so pretty. It's the flower above her head. And then one of my favorite things about this design are the beads in her wing. They look like dewdrops, and they're scattered throughout the design. You'll see, you know, above the stem here, down in near the bottom, there's some more. They're supposed to resemble like dewdrops. I love that. And her colors are fun. This fairy doesn't have much of a dress, you know. She's got a little dress on that kind of look like feathers. But this flower was everything. Her wings are everything. The stem. So pretty. Blissberry. Must frame one day. And then this is another piece. So this is a design that got me hooked. This one's Petal Fairy. Erica, Fibers and Floss Canada, had stitched this first and had it framed, and she had passed the chart along to me, and then I stitched it. And I absolutely love this one. There's nothing I don't like about this stitch. The colors are so pretty. Like, you get a little bit of everything in here. Like in the middle at her chest, there's these beautiful pink colors in her dress. And then you get this beautiful colors of petals, like a flower, blocks of stitching. That was absolutely amazing to stitch. And then her purple wings. Okay, that's amazing. Her hair is so adorable. There's a beautiful flower in her hair. One of the most elegant faces I've ever seen. Her hand placements, everything about this I love. And then you get this beautiful 3 flowers or 2 flowers up top there. Look at this. Her feet. This is probably one of my most favorite Mirabilia charts ever. And if you haven't stitched a Mirabilia and you're looking which one should I start first, I suggest this one because there's so many fun elements to this. She's big, she's beautiful, the colors, the flower, there's so many fun parts to this. And like I said, her wings, they have, let me just double check. Yeah, they've got Krynic in them. DMC and Krynic. She's so pretty. I stitched both of these on the called for fabric. I believe it is a 32 count. It's not natural. I can't remember what this fabric is called, but it would have been the called for on the chart, if you're wondering. So pretty. I want to get these framed. I know I'm going to take them at the same time. Like when I do decide to frame them, I want to take them to the framer at the exact same time because to me they are a set. They sort of create the flowers on each side to represent sort of like a heart if they were sort of together. But I think it might be a bit of a challenge to get them framed just right. Like if you did one and then you brought in the other, you know, got to get them done at the same time so that they sort of create a heart and the frames match, the size match. That's, to me, they're a set. So I want to frame them together and for them to make sense together. But you could also separate them and have them in different places in your home, or maybe my daughters might like fall in love with those and one of them could have one. That would be really special. I don't know why I just sort of got emotional there. Because when I stitch, I often think about my girls a lot. And when I stitched these, they were young. And yeah, I'm a pause. Got all emotional on you guys. What I was trying to say is that, you know, our emotions and thoughts are sometimes wrapped in these designs in some of our stitching over the years, right? Like, for me, it's almost like a memory book when you look back and think about maybe what you were going through when you were stitching on certain stitches, right? Sometimes, you know, it's a real healing process when you are, you know, maybe going through something and you stitch away, stitch the feelings away, or, you know, sort of like therapy, right? Like a lot of us can relate to that. Stitching is our therapy. And yeah, our memories are sometimes stuck in the designs, right? Like when you've stitched them, you remember going through certain things. And for those two Bliss Fairy and Petal Fairy, you know, I was trying to say is that they create a heart and they would be beautiful together and they would also be beautiful apart. And if, you know, one of my girls, both my girls would love a piece down the road, like I've said, I've made them both a mermaid, but, you know, as time goes by, there might be certain designs that they're drawn to. And if they were ever, you know, wanted to have one of my pieces, I would always be honored for one of them to be, you know, gifted to them and hanging on their wall one day. That, like, I would love that. And so yeah, that's sort of what I would love for those two, the Bliss Fairy and Petal Fairy, to be framed together and to be beautiful together as a set and beautiful apart. So that's sort of the plan with those ones. They're still a dream of mine to get framed, and now that I've given them a fresh wash and shown them to you all again, hopefully that will inspire me to get them done in the next coming years. That'd be really fun. So I have a couple more things to share with you. Before we go, I have a few more charts that are my newer works in progress. This one is the Woodland Fairy. I am stitching this one with two other floss tubers, Rogue Mama Stitcher, Amber, and Sarah, Memphis Sarah E. We have started a little stitch along, and it is the Woodland Fairy Sal. If you want to follow along on Instagram, there have been a few others that have joined us. This is a beautiful chart. Actually, I think I just posted on Instagram a few days ago. Someone had stitched this and done a really amazing job. And you know, if you follow the hashtag, you can see others and what they have stitched it on. And maybe they've made a color conversion and you've fallen in love with what they've done with the wings or what fabric they've stitched it on. So it's a great place to get inspired. That's what I really enjoy about it for this stitch. Really, really fun. So I'll show you my progress. I have stitched on her this year. And the last time I had picked her up, I had worked on back stitching, getting her face and all of her skin done at the top here. And some of her hair, she's missing, I think I've left spaces for all the beads. There's gonna be a ton of beads in her hair. But you can see the shape that's gonna form at the back here for her wings. And she's another one, you know, where they have the wing and the skin at the back. Look, I'll show you again. Look at that. I love that element. So I've looked at the design, and for that back part that's peeking through the wing, you stitch her skin tone color plus a strand of blending filament. And that's what gives it its little bit of sparkle and skin see-through iridescent. I can't wait to stitch that part. But again, I tend to leave the wings for last because I find them the most satisfying to do, you know, but we'll see. I haven't made a full decision on where I'm going to go to next time I pick this up. I might do more of the dress. I'm dying to get more of the pink color in. I've only got a tiny little bit right there, but I would love to get some more sort of where she's sitting underneath the wing. It starts to drape those beautiful pink ribbons. Ah. Can't wait to stitch that and get it on the fabric. Like, that's also one of the things I really enjoy doing, is when you start a brand new pattern, is to get all the colors into the stitch on the fabric. That's really fun to do. You know, when you get a new color, you're like, ooh, this one hasn't gone in yet. All right, let's go. Super fun. Super, super fun. She's beautiful. I love this stitch and I'm really enjoying it, stitching it with Amber and Sarah. It's been fun. I hope we get together again soon. We have done a couple of Zooms and chit-chatted while we've been stitching on it. And it was also, you know, a really, really fun time. And I hope we do it again soon. And then I have one more. This is like, I just started Butterfly Fairy April, last month. Barely got much done on her. But this was a gift from a viewer, this chart. Absolutely love this one. It was gifted to me for my 2-year anniversary with Flosstube. And that's really special. It's kind of a fun little story to go along with this chart and this stitch as I go on throughout the year and stitch this. But I love her. She's got great colors and she's holding a butterfly and a wand. Her wings are unique. It's really pretty. You can see her hair changes color from the front of her head and then at the back of her hair because it's going through, like it's behind her wings. Gosh, I love that. And these flowers, so pretty. Okay, I'll show you where I am. I'm stitching this on the called for 32 count Country French linen. Country French latte linen by Witch Help. And it's beautiful. Like when I stitch on this, it doesn't feel like the normal like Witch Help stiff fabric. Like this one feels really beautiful and soft and I love the color. So far all I have done is her face. Now this is a unique thing for me. I always start in the middle, and okay, I'll show you again the picture. I had started right at the top because there wasn't a lot up here that I had to like count down from. I just, you know, got the measurement and moved down and started right at the top of the design, and I get to stitch her from the top down. That's exciting. And when I was starting this, I was like, wow, her face is really big. This is going to be a huge, huge stitch. So here she is so far. You can see the beautiful details in her face. I haven't backstitched yet, but like you can see the shading, her nose, her chin, and then there's spaces left, I believe, around her neck for probably like a pearl necklace. But I showed this before, but like look at the difference in the size of her face. Like they're both Mirabilias, but this is going to be a big, big design. This one's big too, but smaller face, right? So pretty. So she kind of reminds me of like what a queen would be, the size that a queen would be. What does it say? The stitch area is 199 by 226. Wow. Beautiful. All right, so that concludes my Mirabilia WIP parade. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you found some inspiration. Over the next coming weeks, I am going to continue working on the Cottage Garden Fairy. I want to make some more progress. She's looking amazing. I'm really enjoying stitching on her, so she's going to stay on the Q-snap. And I'm hoping to get some more stitching done on Bumblebee. So stay tuned for that. I'll be back, you know, in the month of June, if you can believe that it's coming up already. And I'm excited to share more about, you know, these couple of patterns, but also, you know, to get into some newer, some other stitching, other designer stitching. And I've really enjoyed the last couple of months. I have been stitching a lot on Nora, Corbett, and Mirabilia designs. And I've really enjoyed my time over the last couple months stitching on them. And I'm excited to get to some of my other patterns. I have a couple that have been calling me. I have a Zodiac stitch that is by Tiny Modernist that I'm like, oh man, I want to stitch on that. So it's, you know, I have some of my other projects that are calling me. So yeah, I've enjoyed my time stitching on Mirabilias, but I'm looking forward to some of my other patterns. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'll be back again soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.